Chris, Pam, can you guys hear me okay? Because it's 3 o'clock, we'll get started. Hello?
I can hear you just fine.
All right, hi Angie. I hear Chris talking through the wall, but I can't actually hear him over the phone, over the webinar there. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So thank you for coming, and we're here to talk a bit about the new ebook that we just loaded in this fall. And we are especially excited about our new partnership with Desmos, and now our ability to integrate the dynamic mathematics within the ebook itself. So this is going to be quick. Marilyn, this shouldn't take more than 15 minutes or so. I just want to quickly run through the ebook, and it's in a different player now, and show you some of the features that we've added to the book. So load it. The first thing you're going to notice is that it looks different. The big thing we wanted to do from the last Discovering Algebra ebook was make it so that you could easily teach from the teacher book or the student book. If you recall, in Discovering the old ebook, there were some permanent panels here where the teacher support material was, and so the portion of the screen that you could display was pretty minimal. Well, now we've created menus that you can move around or add or delete at your desire to make it simpler for you to display and use in class. So now the table of contents, sort of like before, it's up here, but now you're going to pop the button and it's going to pop out. And now you can move this all around as you wish. If you want to keep it visible while you're teaching from it, you want to get it out of the way, or you can delete it altogether. And just like before, there's a contents tab and a resources tab. So the navigation hasn't changed too much from before. A couple other changes in terms of where things are placed. So now the modifying investigation, the differentiated instruction tools, and the common core correlation are now based over here in this little corner. And you can click on them and they'll pop up, and then you can make them go away. Again, trying to make things more readily available. The common core correlation is actually going to pop up in another tab because it's a bit lengthy. The other thing you'll notice up here is now you have the ability to bookmark. So if you teach multiple lessons and you wanted to know where you stopped at a particular lesson, you can now bookmark pages like so, and you can attach different colors to different sections. Kids have the ability to bookmark as well. They don't have multiple colors. The assumption is they're not going to be looking for 4 different places in their book. And here you can customize, so you can say, all right, purple is going to be my first period class, and so on. And it's going to tell me that I have to fill in the rest, but now that'll do. The teacher materials, the things that were in the wraparound, that is now available down here. Teaching the lesson and answer, that button is going to pop up. And this is going to give you the content that's in the wraparound of the teacher edition. This would be the only difference between the teacher ebook and the student ebook, is in the student ebook, this button doesn't exist. But here, once again, this is the material in the wrap, complete with the answers. And this is cut up between teaching the lesson, or if you're just looking for the answers, you can access them there. And so that's right here. You can also take notes now in this ebook, and the way you do that is you just click here on Add Notes. You can have whatever your notes you want. Again, it's color-coded, so if you want to leave notes in here in terms of, I need to make sure I go over this definition again, or make sure I cover exercise 13 when I go over homework with a specific class, this allows you to take those kind of notes as well, if you wish. Again, students don't have the multiple colors, but they have that ability to take notes in the book as well. To access the notes, that's what this button is for. And here's the glossary. And just like in the other ebook, if you mouse over the boldface words, the definition will still pop up. But if you're looking to access the definition more efficiently, you can do so here and click and it'll show up. This link will take you to the condensed lesson download for each lesson in the book. So if you're going to use those, remember those are sort of the direct instruction companion to go with the lesson, you can access those directly through the ebook. And lastly, just as it was before, you have the resources tab. So if you want to access the, click on the right tab, there we go. If you want to access the launches, one steps, those other materials that to use while you're teaching a lesson, those are all accessible through this resources tab right here. So a couple other things that I want to show you in terms of changes to the ebook. One of them is something we've fixed, which were the videos. So here's lesson 4.1. And we've always had videos in the program. And I picked the wrong lesson. It's actually 4.2. One moment. So we've always had the lessons with the program. And did I pick the wrong lesson? There we go. So these videos are still present, but now you can play. Before you could just play them through there to the end. Now you have the ability to play a video, and you can skip ahead or you can pause. That functionality has been added to the ebook player to make those videos a little more user-friendly in the classroom. The highlight is the Desmos integration. So now with Desmos, we've basically allowed a couple things. We've allowed students can now use a graphing calculator that's embedded within the ebook, which has allowed us to do things like preload the data sets. So students aren't having to enter data and to save their work. Students can use a Desmos object within a lesson, and then they can save it. So if they want to come back to it later, it's there, and they can do that across multiple lessons. And we've also now been able to create some simulations. Some of the investigations in the book require a lot of equipment or a lot of time, and so teachers were able to do them in class. Well, several of them now with Desmos, we can simulate, and you can have that interactive experience and collect the data easily and efficiently. So I want to show a couple examples. First one is out of lesson 3.2. This is a investigation is looking at recursive relationships and how to express what a recursive relationship looks like on a graph, called On the Road Again. And now as I drop the investigation, just as you did before, here at some point, I now have a Desmos iteration of it. Now you're going to notice here it looks a little squunched, and this is one of the things to know about the Desmos player. It's always going to be the same size, and there are two panes. You have your pane where we can put notes, sliders, put in the function, and then the graph pane. If it looks squunched, it's because if you hide the list, now it's not going to look so squunched anymore. And so this particular one is looking at the relationship over time. So there's a couple ways to do it. The distance from Flint, I can just press play, and the vehicles will move, and I can wonder which two are going to intersect first. But to make it a little easier to do without the distortion, you can also use this little pointer here, slider, and do it this way, and I can move them along and determine what the values are going to be in the graph and when the vehicles might intersect. Another example I'm going to show you is actually from the next lesson. So I'm going to go this way. The book has always supported the use of motion detectors, and we still do. But we realize a lot of schools, again, do you have access to the equipment and do you have the time to use them? And so now in Desmos, we now have the ability to simulate a motion detector. So here you're going to play match the graph. So the directions say choose a scenario 1 through 8, position the walker, start the timer. So I'm going to pick scenario 3. And now here's my person. And I got to figure out where I want him to start. So he's going to start at 0, and I want him a little further along than that. So here. And then it gives you sort of 3 seconds to get ready. And now I can play match the graph, and I can move my walker and figure out, and now I want him to go back. And so students can match the graph and look at how does that motion affect representing that time distance graph. What is the direction of his walking and the velocity of the walk how does that reflected in the graphical representation? And now with Desmos, you have the ability to do that within the ebook. Um, and you can also, and I'll show you one more example because I want to show you how you can also save your work. So I'm going to go to another lesson here real quick. And here's a lesson where students are given a set of a couple of data points, and they have to find the uh, equation of the line. And I can see here that I did the first one, and now I'm going to do the second one real quick. And I'm going to do a little Julia Child and just put in the answer. So I know that's 2.8, and I know this is minus 0.6 times the quantity x minus 6. So now I have that, and I'm done. But I know I can click down here, and it says I can save it. If you don't want it to tell you that it's saved it every time, you can indicate that. Well, now I can go and log out, log back in, go to another lesson, and when I come back, back to where I was, I can see that, in fact, some of my functions have been saved. So it has the ability to save it. So students want to show their work or they want to move on, they can save their work. Then they can reset it if I want to go back to where I began. We've also included Desmos objects within the homework. So students, if they have access to a web-based machine, they can now do their homework problems and work on the problems right there within the ebook without having to flip back and forth to the Desmos website or using a handheld if they don't have access to a handheld at home. So, I mean, we're thrilled to have this, especially this edition of Desmos, to make the ebook even that much more useful in terms of using the mathematics, interacting with the mathematics, and creating work product that students will be able to go back to and use later on, or as a teacher, you can use and go back to, or quickly reset if you need to do it for the next class. Just a few other features, and we're going to be done. This really was meant to be reasonably quick. Most of these other features work pretty much the same as they did before in terms of like the answers. You mouse over the answers, and they're going to show up. I talked about the definitions already popping up. That you can also search by page number. So if you know what page in the textbook you're looking for, I can just simply use that navigation to get to a certain page of the book, rather than going through this menu if that's easier for you. It really was meant, again, making it all the easier for you to use the teacher ebook both for planning and for display purposes if you're teaching from the ebook and using it in class. To give students quick access to the tools and the tools that you need for planning, and then again to do that integration with Desmos so that you can have those Desmos learning objects already created for you so that you can easily use them in the classroom. So does anyone have any questions? Otherwise, like I said, this is meant to be just a quick little tutorial so that folks can get started on the new ebook. Alrighty, well, in that case, thank you very much for your time. Like I said, we're gonna post this and we'll get the word out to everyone that this is posted for folks who want to use it for future training or for future reference. Thank you very much.